A massive thank you to VWVS Bros, Paul, Aiden, Carlo and Yuli for subscribing to the channel. If you're not already featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below.
Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with more of our F1 22 My Team career mode. Yesterday we returned to the Styrian Mountains. It's time for the Austrian Grand Prix. Of course, this weekend we're back with yet another sprint weekend. So, of course, this video will be split into today being practice, qualifying in the sprint race, and then we'll, of course, be back tomorrow with the full main race, if you will. But, of course, as always, a massive thank you to you guys for all the insane and continued support on the F1 2022 content on the channel. You know, still having a lot of fun, despite the major issues we've ran into over the last few weekends. But, of course, still got plenty of upgrades in the works at the moment. You can see there we've got currently 3 upgrades, one on each department, that should hopefully bring us a little bit closer to, you know, Alfa Romeo, Aston Martin, Williams. There's so little to play for, pretty much from Alpine back in this championship. Further up, though, McLaren now have got the best car in Formula 1. They're ahead of Ferrari and Red Bull. Speaking of which, McLaren on an absolute tear in recent weeks. They're 4 wins now in a row as we head to Austria there. Hamilton still leads the way, though, ahead of George Russell. But yeah, Bottas and Lando Norris not far behind. We're sat currently still 10th overall in the Drivers' Championship, 6th still in the Constructors, like we have been for a big part of this championship. But yeah, fingers crossed this weekend, though, here at Austria, we can try and have a good run, and maybe, just maybe, I know I keep saying it, but hopefully get ourselves back into the points. Right, well, here we are then, back in the Styrian Mountains once more. Feels, of course, like we end up doing a lot of Austria on F1 22 at the moment, of course, because you can change, I mean, you can cancel sprint races, but I do need to have a proper look before we jump into Season 3, whether you can change which weekends have a sprint, because I would like to try them out at some different circuits. I mean, Canada is one I'd love to do a sprint race out. I feel like that could work quite well. Donuts at the top of the hill, though, that was a rather weird spin. And apparently we're just going to keep doing it? I don't know what that's all about. And I've now been hit by a Merc. That's been a bit of a disaster there. What on earth have I done to the rear tyres? We've still got the green score, though. Guess that is one of the best things about the track climatization laps, is you can still make mistakes like that and still somehow walk away with a purple score. There is a pretty solid rest of the lap. 325 points, that'll be enough. Right, next up then is the tyre wear program. Let's see if we can try and get another purple score here. You can see the session did actually start in intermediate conditions. Unfortunately, we had a fuel system problem, which meant we couldn't actually go out during the damp section. But, I mean, yeah, the rest of the weekend is meant to be nice sunny skies here in the Styrian Mountains. Like I said, you know, I always love coming back to Austria. Can we nail the hairpin this time round as we head through? What is that about? I'm not sure whether it's an issue with F1 22 or just with my wheel, my pedals even, but definitely do seem to sometimes get some calibration issues where the throttle pedal is incredibly sensitive to any sort of pressure. All I have to do is plug it into my PC and then it will go back to normal again, but just a bit frustrating to have to deal with so often. I mean, as we head through the final couple of corners, fingers crossed this will still be a purple score. Yes, it will just about, but yeah, not ideal. And as we jump into my race simulation run then, let's just make sure that everything is working as it should now be expected there. It is just a very strange thing that sometimes happens. I mean, look at that. That time round, no dramatics at all through turn 2 there. So at least we've got that fixed now, but yeah, just one of those strange things. Like I said, I don't know whether it's, you know, I've had these pedals now for the better part of three and a half years, so they've certainly done pretty well up to now with, you know, constant sim racing, but yeah, just a little bit weird. Don't know, like I said, whether it's my pedals or the game, because I don't have to change anything on them. I just have to plug them into my PC periodically, and they kind of figure themselves back out. Don't know if anyone else has had that issue. If you have, let me know down in the comments below. But so far, this practice program does look like it should be fairly easy to complete. We could get a nice solid weekend of purples. I really do think, though, this weekend we are going to have to try something out of the box when we get into the sprint race there, because desperately, I don't get. We ran 3 races at the start of the season where we finished top 6 in all of them, and then it's been a horrible combination of tracks that haven't suited the car, and then, of course, just everyone else getting a whole lot faster as well. We haven't seen points since then. I mean, we've had a few chances where we could have been, had things gone our way. You know, Monaco we would have scored points. Canada we would have scored points as well. So it's not like we've been impossibly far away. Then, of course, you know, like Spain, Miami as well. We could have only just if things have gone perfectly there as well. Picked up top 10s, but yeah, we've not been a million miles away, but it has just been always frustratingly the wrong side. Kind of doing my best Esteban Gutierrez back when he's won the season with Haas back in 2016, where he finished 11th like 6 times that season and never failed to score a point. Sorry, never managed to succeed in scoring a point, even I should say. But round in the final corner, they're about to finish off my qualifying sim run. Let's just wait and see as we head up towards the line. That is going to be purple score. Let's get into qualifying then here in the Styrian Mountains.
Formula 1 is finally back in 2022, and now you can rep your favourite teams. Of course, using the F1 store, every team now has merch lineups available, whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Williams fan, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull. The choice is completely up to you. But yeah, check out the F1 merch store down below for all the official releases from all of the teams. And of course, as always, if you use our links as well, you massively help support the channel. So yeah, give it a look and see if there's anything you like.
Oh, come on, Lance Stroll. That's not the way... Why? Why would Lance Stroll do that? As we get ready to start my first qualifying lap. There he goes defensive. He then moves back to the racing line right in front of me. We try and have a look because he's parked there. And then he just decides to turn in. Luckily, no front wing damage, but I guess that's a welcome start to qualifying then from the Austrian mountains as we take a lot of curb through turn 1. Once again, you know, we've had a pretty solid run of making Q2s in recent weeks, but we've had a much more consistent run of them bottling the lap when we make it into that second qualifying session. Fingers crossed that won't happen today, but we'll wait and see there. It's trying to push the limits at the top of the hill there. That is where time can be found or lost. Right in the final couple of turns, so first qualifying lap in the books. What's the time going to be? We go slower than Piastri, but quicker than Lance Stroll at least. That won't be good enough to see us through into Q2, however, as Lando Norris, a 3-3. That is a ferocious lap time. Then again, he's always gone well here, and it should be a track that suits their car. Right, starting my second run then in Q1. Of course, a lot of times have improved, but Lando Norris was 1.2 seconds clear of anyone at the end of the first run there. When you consider this is a 1 minute lap track, that is an absolutely insane gap to have pulled out over just 2 miles here. But as we head up the hill, fingers crossed, like I said, I've actually opted to go on the same set of tyres we did in the first run. Hopefully we can just try and find a bit more time there, as that is a terrible run at the top of the hill. Still not confident as we go through turn 3. 2 laps worth of fuel remaining, but as we head down in towards the final couple of turns there, can we try and find a little bit more back end really washed out through the penultimate corner there up towards the line? We aren't going to improve this time, and that's going to leave us still sat down in P18 in the drop zone. Right, heading out then for my final run in Q1. Of course, sprint weekends, we only get the 3 sets of tyres as well, so we are really going to have to try and nail this final lap then, because we only need about 0.3 of a second there. But safely, we'd want to be close into the 104s. That's where a lot of the other midfield cars are at the moment, but I think, yeah, if we get a low 105, that would probably be quite an achievement there. It's a much better run out of the first corner as we head through the kink that is turn 2. Try and line ourselves up ready for turn 3, braking at the 100-metre board. Try and get the car tipped in nicely. Right the throttle on the exit. You can see now a 1/10.5 up as we head up to the highest point on the circuit. Plunge back down the hill on the other side. They're braking just at the 100-metre board once more. And let's just try and see there. Short shift up into 4th gear over the bump. 2.5 tenths up now as we tip the car over to the right before we swing it in to the left as we head down the hill. Try and just keep it nice and tidy as best as we can there. 3/10 up now. The lap time is slowly coming towards us, but we need to make sure we nail the final couple of corners. Big deep breath. She tipped the car in at the 50-metre board there, trying to tap the curbs as best as possible. One more corner to go up towards the line. Has been a pretty good lap here. Surely this is good enough for Q2. 21st? We found half a second and we lost 3 places. I'm genuinely lost for words there. How on earth has everyone suddenly found a load more time there? Lando Norris is still fastest on that 103.3, but everyone went quicker there apart from Felipe Drugovich somehow. But yeah, I guess we definitely needed a mid to high 104 there. But I mean, both myself and Oscar Piastri 3/10 away from the rest of the runners there. P21, not where we wanted to finish qualifying for the Austrian Grand Prix there. That is honestly a little bit alarming, the gap to the cars in front. But yeah, I guess we're going to be starting right at the very back then. We may as well put a fresh power unit in the back of the car. I mean, Austria, France as well, both very, very power-orientated circuits, but what a disaster from the Austrian GP qualifying session. They just could not... I thought we got the lap connected, but absolutely not, apparently.
This channel is proudly sponsored by Bybit, the official crypto partner of Red Bull's Formula 1 team. I've been using their platform for my personal crypto savings over the last few months, and when they got in touch to support the channel, I was super, super excited. Currently, they're offering you guys a special new promo for the first 100 of you to deposit $10 or more onto the platform. You'll get another $10 free. Also, 5 lucky winners will get their initial deposit doubled up to $1,000. That means if you deposited $1,000 onto the platform using my codes below, you could be within a chance to get another $1,000 completely free. We've seen the landscape around crypto drastically change over the last couple of years, and I genuinely believe it holds an important place in our future. However, please be careful as always when trading, as you are liable to lose money. But if you're interested and you're 18 or older, click the link down below to get started and see why Red Bull and myself, as well as thousands of others, trust Bybit as their crypto.
Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Hamilton, George Russell and Ricciardo, Verstappen, Perez, Sainz and Pierre Gasly, Ocon, Albon, Yuki Tsunoda and Mick Schumacher, Magnussen, Joe, Lance Stroll and Nicholas Latifi, Schwartzman, Oscar Piastri, Mr. Monaco and Felipe Drugovich. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out.
Right, well here we are then on the track for Saturday's sprint race here from the Austrian GP, and I'm a little bit worried that the team, apparently we haven't got any penalties. We're going to try and gamble it though. We're going to go onto a set of soft compound tyres to see us through to the checkered flag here. You know, it's a bit of a stretch, but we're starting at the back anyway. We've really got very little to lose and a lot to gain from this one. But yeah, now I'm a bit worried that the team haven't actually put the fresh engine in. I have selected all new components that was just going to send us one place backwards and then would hopefully give us a few extra ponies for the race today. And unfortunately, I think I'll only be able to find out once we actually get into the race itself. So that's not reassuring, but if ever there was a track we should be able to get a good start at, surely today we're going to have to just absolutely send it. Right, as we round through the final couple of turns, then 12 laps ahead of us today to navigate around Austria, starting P21. Where do we think we'll be able to finish in this sprint race? I reckon a top 16 is certainly doable. They're effectively be like we made it out of Q1. But that's going to require a good start here as we almost launch into the back of my teammate Oscar Piastri. Make sure we get it lined up beautifully there on the purple score. But Drugovich really struggled in qualifying yesterday, so intrigued to see how the Haas is going to get on today. Waiting on those 5 red lights though here at Austria, and it is going to be a very long hold, but lights out and away we go. And despite the fresher, softer tyres, they're not really getting the start we would have wanted. So we head down towards turn 1. Gonna see. Oh, come on, Robert Schwartzman, gotta get on with it, man. Oh, really being a bit too aggressive on the throttle pedal there. As you can see, one of the McLarens absolutely bolted as we head up the hill. But now we need to send it up in towards turn 2, and that's absolutely what I'm going to do there. As clearly Oscar Piastri getting the same message from the team. Bit of contact as we get towards the top of the hill. There is still Drugovich able to come back at me once more. The same can be said for Lance Stroll. Look how quick the AI are. Top end speed again though going to give up on it just yet. There is again, we go back up the inside and straight up then into P19 of the Grand Prix there. We have to utilise the extra grip that we've got early on here. As you can just see, horrible line through the next corner, but Piastri and Latifi side by side just a little way up the road there. As Drogovic wanted to come back at me there. Kevin Magnussen gets tripped over though in all of the commotion, so now we're going to be at the inside of the Aston Martin there. Both 2-2 Motorsport cars. Oh, very, very close to contact with Piastri through the final corner there, but it has been a decent opening lap then to the Austrian Grand Prix, as Piastri now has got no battery as we head back down towards Turn 1 there. They're still 2x2 up the road there as we get back in towards the first corner. Luckily, we just about give Oscar the room on the exit there, but he is going to be under pressure from Kevin Magnussen. As you can see, Latifi now trying to make progress. 3 wide as they head up the hill. Austria always delivers the chaos at the start of a Grand Prix there, as Kevin Magnussen almost into the back of me. We almost go into the back of Latifi, but we should be able to get the power down side by side now with the Williams in this Grand Prix. We could be up into P16 momentarily here as we'll go up the inside, accidentally up the inside of Zhou Guan Yu as well. This is frantic sprint racing as Esteban Ocon and Alex Albon there still side by side up the road, but we'll now inherit P15 then of the Grand Prix. But we have to pick up places early on here because we are going to struggle towards the end on these tyres, but yeah, we have to be aggressive, and we certainly have been early on as both Mercedes, and then we've still got huge gaggles of cars behind. I mean, this is just chaos at the start there. Pierre Gasly now trying to have a look up the inside of Albon, and that's going to leave Mick Schumacher and Yuki Tsunoda there caught napping on the exit of the corner. Are we going to be able to get a run on Gasly and the Williams there? Gasly goes to the inside of Alex Albon. Alex Albon locks up. We're still 3 wide. There's contact everywhere going on. I mean, this is just insanity. As we now somehow up into P12 then of the Grand Prix. We've now got the run on Alex Albon as we head down the hill there. Of course, we're going to send it on the Williams. Very, very aggressive move once more. Yellow flag's out, actually, as there's more chaos going on behind. And we've just got to try and leave this huge gaggle of cars to themselves there. We've overtaken 10 cars in 3 laps here, as now we've got a Mercedes pulling over to the wayside as well. Pierre Gasly's out of the Grand Prix. One of the Mercs as well seems to be falling to the wayside here, so we could be up into the top 10. What on earth has happened early on here in Austria? Which Merc is it? It's George Russell at the Grand Prix. There's more carnage though. Look at this. What's going on out of the final corner? We got a safety car, I think, or a VSC. Safety car is out, I think. Safety car out, and we're somehow up in a P10 there, but we could have been up into the points. So there we go. We've got a car coming into the pit lane at the end of the lap there. I think it's one of the Red Bulls. So that might have been that little bit of front wing we saw flicked up early on there, but surely, after all the trials and tribulations in qualifying, we only need one more place, and we will be up into the points in the Austrian Grand Prix sprint. Surely this isn't how we're going to end up picking up our first points in, what, nearly 10 races? I mean, yeah, 21st to 9th in just 4 laps there is certainly not bad going on F1 22, but if ever there was a track that was going to happen, it's pretty much either Austria or Mexico. Piastri's up to P16 as well. Their Perez now is basically out of it for the for the sprint race today, but I'm sure he'll be able to fight back through in the feature tomorrow. Bottas leads the way though ahead of Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton, but poor old George Russell might get jumped by both McLarens in the championship come the end of this weekend. But we need to get past Esteban Ocon. I want a point here so badly after those first few laps. I mean, this has also done wonders for our tyre wear as well there, because of course it would just mean we got less laps of having to drag the tyres around. But safety car in then at the end of lap 6. We've got 6 laps to go. Please, we've got to try and get past Esteban Ocon off the restart and then probably just park the bus in front of him right the way through to the checkered flag here. Round in the final couple of corners though, Valtteri Bottas of course will dictate the pace. And are we going to be able to get some heat into the tyres once more there? We'll try and just weave a little bit to build up some temperature, but look how quick the Alpine is as we head back down towards turn 1. Oh, big wobble there through the first corner. It's going to require an absolute send as we head up the hill on Esteban Ocon here. We're going to need the AI to concertina up just a little bit, but we're not going to be anywhere near close enough at the moment. Yes, we are. Up the inside of Ocon we go, and we had to go for it. At the top of the hill there, Esteban Ocon has now been displaced there as Alex Albon is going to try and fight along with the Alpine as well there. So poor old Esteban Ocon is going to get absolutely sent to the shadow realm at the top of the hill there. But if Albon and the Alpine can continue to squabble, surely that'll give me a little bit of breathing room. And that could be essential later on in the afternoon, because the top end speed of this car, I think we're running 812 wings this weekend, and it's still nothing compared to the top end speed that the AI have got. I'm desperately waiting for the new patch there, as it looks like Ocon has held on ahead of Alex Albon, but come on, we can do this. 3 laps to go then. Ocon is still applying the pressure. The team now warning me about the grip levels on this set of the mediums, but we need to try and hang on right the way through to the checkered flag there. I think Ocon was trying to be brave on the loud pedal as Ricciardo and Sainz battling just up the road there, but we've often got enough to hang on as we head up the hill. It's really just through turn 3, but I mean, it's been the story all weekend how much we're struggling to hang on through there as we're trying to put power down on the exit. You can see we again just don't have enough at the moment, but we have not got much ERS left. Oh, look at this, end of lap 11. Albon and Ocon now all over the back of me, as well as a couple of other cars as well. They're not too sure which Alfa Romeo that is, but that's a much better run of form than they've had most this season there. As I think Ocon tried to have a look at the inside through turn 6, but can we just hang on for one more lap here in the Styrian Mountains? I mean, if Albon and Ocon can battle once more, then that could be the absolute lifeline of the year. But who would have thought in 12 laps we could gain 13 places in a sprint race in a car that is still struggling to score top 10s on most weekends there, and somehow here, as look at that, Albon I think did slow up Ocon through turn 1 there. He's been a valiant effort from the Thai driver there, as Zhou Guanyu is going to try and move himself up inside the top 10. Make sure we get the car slowed down tidy at the top of the hill there. But I think Albon even, has just about saved my race here, as Ocon was constantly getting good runs on me as well there. But as we head through the final few corners of the sprint race, surely now it's just a case of parking the bus and using the battery where we need to here, as Esteban Ocon, he got absolutely sent off the restart there, and Ocon does make a bit of a mistake. Will Zhou Guanyu be able to pick up the place from him as well? Valtteri Bottas will come through to win the sprint race here, and a McLaren 1-2 there. Lewis Hamilton will just hang on for the podium ahead of what I'm guessing is Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. But through the final corner, points are back in the My Team series in the most unlikely way possible.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. It's time to check out the constructors' standings. No change in the top spot then, but with today's points, their hold on that lead is getting weaker. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, that wraps up the sprint. All that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
I can't believe at the start of that sprint I said, let me know your predictions down below as to where we'll finish this one, and somehow I definitely was not predicting P8 there. I said a top 16 would be nice. It'd be like making it back into Q2 there, but 12 laps, 13 places gained. Remember, 3 of those laps as well were under safety car. Everything, and I mean everything, fell into place during that sprint race there. It is once again, though, another McLaren 1-2 ahead of Lewis Hamilton there. Max Verstappen, like we said, in P4 ahead of both Ferraris there. Sainz in 7th, and somehow, despite all the odds, we get our first points since, what, the Australian Grand Prix, round 3 of the year. They're just able to hang on ahead of Ocon and Zhou Guanyu there. I've got no idea whether come the feature race tomorrow that we'll be able to hang on for more points, but you certainly, if you're not already, if that race doesn't deserve a subscription, I don't know what will there. But thank you all so much for watching this video nonetheless. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we will return tomorrow then, ready for the feature race from the Austrian GP. If it's anything as good as that, we're in for a treat.
None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.